Welcome back to Uncut with Lucia. Today we are joined by Dr. Cami Hoss. Cami is a dentist and the founder of the Super Dentists. He is also a speaker and an author, and his new book is If Your Mouth Could Talk is out now. So, Dr. Cami, welcome to Uncut with Lucia.
Thank you very much. It's so nice to be here.
Thank you too for your time. So, Dr.
For,
Kami, what made you to want to become a dentist?
well, that's a really good question. So I started college as an engineering major at UCLA in Los Angeles, like a long time ago, about 30 years ago. And uh, and then just, I don't know, I started because I think my dad is an engineer and I love math and physics, but it was just not quite right for me. So I'm also a musician. I write music. I play the piano ever since I was a kid. So I figured, you know what, maybe I should go to medicine or dentistry because dentistry it's obviously a lot of hand skills. And so that was really the reason I became a dentist. I went to a dental school at UCLA. And then while I was there, I was still like just, trying it. I wasn't really into it until the day that we had one of our instructors, the chairman of the orthodontic department. It was this tall guy with a red mustache. He just walked in. I was in the back of the class, second year dental school. He put a boombox on the counter. And then I'm like, what is this? And then he started playing this music with these slides about how orthodontics braces changes people's lives. And I saw this for about 20 minutes. I'm like, this is what I want to do. So I'm not exaggerating. Like right after this class, I went forward. I introduced myself to, his name was Dr. Patrick Turley. I said, Dr. Turley, this is like the most amazing lecture I've ever had. I want to become an orthodontist. He's like, okay. But you know that it's the hardest specialty of dentistry. You have to get the best, like you have to be in the top 5% of your class. I'm like, okay, whatever it takes, I'm going to become an orthodontist. So because I fell in love with this profession, I just started like, I moved from the back of the class to front, started asking the questions. And, a year later, I graduated, I applied to my orthodontic residency, and I got accepted to several places. I went to USC, which is another college, rival school to UCLA in Los Angeles. And I got my orthodontic residency from there in 96.
So, and then after you became an orthodontist, yeah,
Uh-huh.
dentist as well, you founded the Super Dentists with your wife. So, can you tell us more about your practice?
Yeah, that's so the super dentist, which is the name of our practice. So I'm an orthodontist. My wife is a pediatric dentist. And we formed, we started working together in 96. We dated since high school. Our first date was her senior prom. And we kind of went to college together. I was always a year ahead, And then when we moved to San Diego right after graduating our residency. And so we started our practice, and her last name is Keri. And so our story of Super Dentist goes back to Dr. Seuss's book. I don't know if you've read it. Dr. Seuss has a book called
Yes.
The Teeth Book.
Yeah.
The Teeth Book, it's about talk about teeth. Has a nose book and teeth book. And so in the book it says even Ruthie the toothy, or if even Ruth is teeth toothy or something like that. So that was planted. That seed was planted in our mind. So when we're gonna start working, my wife's last name is Keri. So we're looking for a logo. One of our friends did a tooth fairy, and I'm like, no, I don't want to do tooth fairy. I want to do something original. And every dentist has tooth fairy or smile. And my wife said, what about Tooth Keri? Because her last name is Keri, based on Dr. Seuss's idea. And I'm like, oh my God, yes, let's make it a Tooth Keri, but she's not a fairy, she's a superhero. So we took the skirts off, we gave her a pants, we gave her a little bit more of a superhero tone. And we started that. And then a few years later, I told my wife, I was always, the creative guy, if you will, and come up with crazy ideas. And I told my wife, I want to do a movie about, she said, what? Who's going to watch a movie about two dentists? I'm like, no, I'm going to make it about superhero dentists. And she said, is this going to cost us anything? I said, no, we'll have our patients and staff. And anyways, I wrote a script of a movie we recorded. It was, first of all, the first movie was terrible. We never released it. But we did another movie, and we called it The Super Dentist. And we released it in some local theaters in San Diego, right before The Incredibles, the original Incredibles Pixar movie was coming out. And so, because it was a short movie, it was like 15 minutes. And from that point on, everybody in San Diego started calling us the Super Dentist. we became such a brand that then I called the dental board and I said, I want to change my name, the name of our practice to the Super Dentist. And long story short, we changed it to the Super Dentist. That was 20 years ago. And then very soon after that, we started opening up additional offices and more and more. And before you know it, we became the largest group dental practice in Southern California.
That's amazing. And I can see that the whole family is very creative.
Yeah, but the funny thing is, my wife is the numbers person, so she's like, she's. I always joke around that I'm the dreamer. I spend the money, and she's the one who saves it and makes the money. So, but yeah, she was the one who started this idea of playing with our name. So my last name is Hoss, Hoss. So my superhero name in the super dentist world is Dr. Have One Super Smile, Hoss. So the two main characters of the super dentist are Dr. Have One Super Smile and the Tooth Fairy. That was how we started it. But over the years, we've expanded this whole because we've made movies, augmented reality experiences, children books, music, merchandising. So now we have a villain. His name is Cavatar. We have Molar, who's Cavatar's henchman. Bristles, our dragon. Flossosaurus is our floss dinosaur. Melody and X. I mean, we have a whole world of now superheroes and villains, and the kids really just love this idea of storytelling, and we're just doing more and more. And now we're moving that whole world of superheroes and villain in a new company that we're launching, which is called Super Mouth, which is a twist on it. Super Dentist is a dental practice, and of course we take care of our patients, but we only do that 2 days out of the year. How do we take care of them the other 363 days? How about oral care products that they have to use twice a day, every single day? So Supermouth is a revolutionary way of really customizing oral care products for kids. Because, if you have a 2-year-old, what oral care products are you supposed to use for them? Or you have an 8-year-old who gets a ton of cavities. Does he or she needs the same oral care products as the 2-year-old? What do you use? Fluoride, non-fluoride? Is fluoride good? Is fluoride bad? Is it toxic? What other ingredients? Mouthwash, floss, tongue scrapers. So we are a oral care product company that specializes for kids, and we make custom oral care products specifically for that child based on their age, risk factor, and preferences. And then we grow with that child as the child goes through these developmental stages, when they go from primary dentition to mixed dentition to adults. And then even pregnancy, because obviously a pregnant woman, her own oral health is critical for her own pregnancy and the developing the fetus, and so we also have educational content for the parents and a world of playful things like superheroes and villains that kids would because as you probably know, dentistry is feared. Many of us are scared of going to the dentist. After public speaking, the biggest fear is going to the dentist. So at the Super Dentist, we've always wanted to build positive association to go to the dentist by making it fun for the kids. We're also duplicating that model in Supermouth.
Wonderful. And the creativity doesn't stop there. You also decided to publish a book called, the title is If Your Mouth Could Talk. Dr. Kami, tell us a little bit about this book. Is it only for dentists or for the general population?
Great question. I wrote the book for parents. I did, first and most. But of course, I wrote it so physicians and dentists can also benefit from it, because this book is not about the stuff that you hear at your dentist's office about brushing and flossing and fillings. And it's not. What it's about is how your oral health and your children's oral health impact your lives from literally conception to death. And the reason is health of oral health literally starts impacting the fertility and sperm count with the parents. Then it impacts health of pregnancy in dramatic ways. Like 74% of pregnant women get gingivitis because of hormonal changes, cardiovascular changes. So during pregnancy, what are you supposed to do for oral health? And then as the baby is born, their oral development impacts airway and oxygen intake, which is such a critical thing for developing baby, especially their brain as they're developing. As a child enters school, the number one reason kids get bullied about is their teeth. As they get older, kids in US miss 51 million hours of school because of dental problems. Kids with dental problems are 3 times more likely to miss school, 4 times more likely to get below average GPA. As they get older, impacts their confidence and self-esteem, which is such an important thing with their mental health. As they enter the workforce, if you have a nice smile, you make $250,000 more than an average person with the same job qualifications. The dating life, right? Then the most attractive thing in somebody else when people are surveyed is somebody's smile, more above hair, eye, skin, everything else. A smile is the number one ranked feature in somebody's smile for attractiveness. As we get older, oral health is connected to almost every chronic disease, many types of cancers, Alzheimer's, cardiovascular disease, diabetes, arthritis, as I said, pregnancy health. And because of all these reasons, it impacts our longevity in serious ways. So I wrote the book to really explain the importance of oral health. So people, first of all, are aware of it and they don't discount it, saying this is just a cavity that the dentist can fill or just a baby tooth that the baby's going to lose. So, and that was part of the reason why I wrote the book, but also provide solutions. What do you do during pregnancy? What do you do with airway issues? What do you do with things that your dentist doesn't explain? The dentists do fillings and crowns and bridges, but they don't really connect the oral health to systemic health and to longevity and chronic diseases. And so I explain all of that. And only the last 20 pages of the book, I discuss oral care products. Because at the end of the day, believe it or not, most of us do it wrong. We use the wrong toothbrush, the wrong toothpaste. We brush the wrong time. For example, most people brush after their meals, even though they were supposed to brush before your meals. That's just one example. Because your mouth becomes acidic, you're not supposed to brush your teeth for 30 to 60 minutes after any meal or drink. But that's just one example to show you that. And by the way, the proof of us doing everything wrong is that the number one disease in the world, based on WHO, World Health Organization, is dental disease, the number one disease. The most chronic disease in children is dental caries, which is the disease that causes cavities. So what we're doing is absolutely wrong, and it's impacting us in all sorts of ways, not just cavities. So that's why I decided to write the book, because I thought this is such an important topic and no one's really talking about it.
It is super important. And I think I'm doing everything wrong now after talking with you.
But then I hope I have an influence, right? It's like, man, I got to go read this book right now and go brush my teeth.
For sure, I will. And for those of us who are not dentists or orthodontists, what do you think is the biggest misconception about oral health and hygiene?
Yeah. The biggest misconception is that we think cavities are not a big deal. Cavities are a really big deal. Let me just tell you why. First of all, as I just said, it's connected to everything else. So when you get a cavity, first of all, enamel, which is the covers of your teeth, is the hardest substance in your body, much, much harder than bone. So if you're getting a hole in the hardest substance in your body, imagine what else is going on in your body that you're not aware of. The reason we get cavities is because there's an imbalance of our oral microbes. So we have collectively about somewhere between 5 to 100 billion microbes in our mouths called our oral microbiome, which, by the way, it also feeds our gut microbiome, which is connected to so many health reasons. But our oral microbiome is essential and vital to our existence and to our survival and to us being healthy. They do so much more than just protecting our teeth. I'll give you one example. The oral microbiome are involved in reducing some of the food ingredients into nitric oxide, which is a very important molecule in our body that it's responsible for to expanding our blood vessels. And so when we don't have enough of nitric oxide, then that increases the risk of heart disease and strokes and all of that. So that's just one thing that our oral microbes do. So it's, by the way, it's linked to almost everything else. When you have bleeding gums, the microbes enter the bloodstream. They travel everywhere in the body, into your brain and to your lungs and to your GI tract, to the unborn baby. So for all those reasons, oral health is critical to our health, to our happiness, to our confidence, to our prosperity, to our mental health, to our longevity. So that's really my message to people. Take your oral health a lot more seriously. And it's fairly easy to take care of it once you learn to use the right tools. Go to the dentist regularly, use the right oral care products that are safe and effective. That part of it is not as easy to find. And that's why I spent about 20 pages of the book explaining about how to find products that are truly safe, but are also truly effective. And those two are sometimes polar opposites. So it's kind of hard to find it. But anyways, it's really, really important to take care of your mouth. But if you do, you're going to have a healthier, happier, more prosperous life.
Could you please tell us all your contacts and where we can find your book, If Our Mouth Could Talk?
Yes, of course. And thank you again for the kind words. So you can buy my book, If Your Mouth Could Talk, either through, it's available in all English-speaking countries. So obviously Northern America, Canada, UK and Australia and everywhere. It's available in ebook, audiobook, and hardcover. You can buy it from, Amazon, Barnes & Noble, depending on where you are, your favorite bookstore, or you can go to themouthbook.com and we have links to various sources. That's for the book. And if you want to learn a little bit about these oral care products that I've discussed, you can also go to supermouth.com.
I know that in your clinic, you have many superheroes, and I believe that the kids will be just amazed when they visit you.
Thank you. Yeah, if you're in Southern California, please check us out. Also, the superdentists.com, it's plural. And that's where we have, really lots of fun. While we're doing, really, we have, of course, world-class pediatric dentists and orthodontists and general dentists and hygienists, and we have amazing technologies. But really, what makes us probably different than any other dental practice is that we know our customers. Our customers are not parents, truly, they're kids. And our job is to take care of those kids. If we take care of those kids to the extreme measures, from quality of care to safety to effectiveness of our care to prevention, but also we need to make it fun. If you're in Southern California, come and check us out. We're at our practice called The Super Dentists, thesuperdentists.com. And so in our practice, yes, we have world-class pediatric dentists, world-class orthodontists, world-class hygienists and general dentists and other specialists. But really, that's not the reason kids love coming to our practice. The reason they love coming to our practice is because we meet them where they live, in this imaginative world of superheroes and villains and storytelling, which we tell through movies, augmented reality experiences, children's book. Our offices are themed. We have slides from one corner of office to another. Think of it as a theme park that kids think they're going to the theme park. We just fix their teeth while they're at it as well.
That's great. Dr. Kemi, thank you very much for what you are doing, you and your wife. And
thank you very much.
Come back to Uncut with me, Lucia.